Welcome to a quick video on how to research your illness. Now, I've got a bit of research to do myself at the moment, and what I wanted to show everyone was the best way to research your own disease and the best way to get all of the information and medical information specific to your illness. And for the purposes of this video, we'll be looking at cannabinoids and cannabis specifically. Related to medical conditions, but this is something that most people should know rather than going to WebMD. And again, if you're a patient who's just got a new illness and you want to find out what research is out there, and again, doctors aren't always the most well informed on every illness. They're great at obviously general health and treating people and obviously keeping people safe and healthy, but ultimately, if you're a patient, you should probably be the person that's best informed on your illness at the time. And this is a great method for finding all the research you need to be informed on your disease, but then also looking at how you can, learn the bigger picture as well, rather than just sort of going through web pages. And so what you want to Google or search, or shout out to Microsoft Edge. I don't know if anyone else has ever actually used it, so this might be a first, but HDAS. Now, as this loads, what we're looking for here is the Healthcare Databases Advanced Search. Now, this is pretty much a Bible of all of the medical research that the National Institute of Healthcare Excellence registers and sort of certifies, and this is all the knowledge that's out there basically that is again reviewed and verified. And so, for example, if we're looking at, say, Crohn's disease, or maybe we're looking at epilepsy, what we'd be doing in here is looking at the keywords related to your illness. And so if we go with Crohn's is a good example, so we'll go with Crohn's for now. Now again, Crohn's is a series of, well, is a part of a family of inflammatory bowel diseases, so there's quite a few segments to it. But if we start with just say Crohn's and search and see what happens and what comes up. 57,000 papers on or containing the search term Crohn's, and so you can sort of scroll down a bit and look at how some of these articles are named. And so each of these articles then corresponds to a medical study, whether it be in the lab, on animals, mice, or whether it's on sort of cells in a dish, or again in humans with experimental drugs, could be clinical trials. All forms of research can be on here. Everything you could possibly want to know about Crohn's disease can be found through this wonderful website. And so if you want to then narrow that down to, say, cannabis as well, you can then look for another keyword. And so if you go with cannabis again, or cannabis for a start even, you can then see that there's 23,000 studies containing cannabis. Now, this is where this becomes really useful. You can then blend all of the studies that contain the word cannabis and all of the studies that contain the word Crohn's disease, combine that search, and you can go and or, but what we're looking at is cannabis and Crohn's, so combine that, and you've got 59 papers on cannabis and Crohn's disease. And so let's take an example one. An overview of cannabis-based treatment in Crohn's disease. And so you've got the abstract here, a little bit of information about the 93 subjects who were part of this placebo-controlled trial. And so you can get an understanding firsthand of what medical studies and medical literature says about your illness, and this is what all of the medical curriculum and all of medicine is based on, is a sort of amalgamation and summary and refinement into a course for doctors and to teach surgeons. And again, this is where all of the knowledge is found that makes up the medical and surgical curriculums and dentistry as well. And so depending on, again, what disease you're looking for and what illness you've got and what you can even research your medicines and your prescription medication as well if you're on here, but I think you can even search things like turmeric, I believe. I think it's spelled turmeric. And there's 5,000 articles on turmeric, and then you can combine turmeric and Crohn's disease and see what research is out there to support turmeric and Crohn's disease research. And it turns out there's 25 studies on turmeric and Crohn's disease, so there you go. But actually, from memory, there are quite a few anti-inflammatory properties to turmeric, and so again, for an inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's disease, potentially a great medicine or something worth trying. But if you want to, again, go from sort of scratch and start again, and to sort of make a point as well, let me start this again. We'll go back to scratch. Oh no, we won't. We'll go back to HDAS super quickly. Now, this is for my own personal interest now. Since I last looked, I think there was maybe 18,000 papers on the therapeutic properties of cannabis, and so this is my magic search term as well for all things cannabis related. 'Cause again, if you're not wanting to just look at cannabis, you can narrow it down to, say, cannabinoids, or there's then phytocannabinoids, you can look at endocannabinoids, and then if we go with, I don't know, maybe cancer, that's a good diverse illness as well. So 7,500 articles on endocannabinoids. There's 4 million articles on cancer. How many talk about the endocannabinoid system and cancer? I think quite a few, from memory. 554. So again, you heard it here first, or maybe not first, but there's an incredible connection between the endocannabinoid system and cancer, and all diseases for that matter. But again, if you want to look at whatever your illness is and the relationship to endocannabinoids, phytocannabinoids, or cannabis, the best search term, and this is the multi-million-pound search term of the year, is cannabis, and then you put a little star at the end, and that's how you get that's how you cover cannabinoids, cannabis, and yeah, every variation, cannabidiol, every sort of variation in between. So if we go cannabis and cancer, probably be, well, hopefully more than 545. 2,300 articles. So again, I get lots of people asking me, what do I do? I've got cancer, or my friend's got cancer. Where's all the information? And what I've done in the past is go through and make sort of portfolios of information for those patients. And so, look, you're asking me about cannabis. What can it do for my illness? Here's all the information on cannabis and bowel cancer, brain tumors, Crohn's disease, ADHD, and so you can basically go and categorize and turn all of these into a sort of catalogue of sorts. But I thought the best thing to do was to show everyone how to actually go and research all of this and look at all of the connections. But once you've got a big list of all the information you do want to read, you can select all on the page and you can export some of this as well. And so if you say, I really want to then have a look at this search term here where we did, 3 and 5, cancer and cannabis, you can export all of that. You can have the short version, the long version, the full version, PDF, Word, Excel. Then you can have 100 records, 500 records, but you can then also chop it down and delete the ones that you're not interested. But there's Chandni Hindocha, good friend. So hey Chandni, your great work showing up in some of our videos. But super interesting and super useful tool, should I say, to stay informed and get the most out of your time on the internet. And again, to learn the most about your disease, this is the best place to do it, because you find all sorts online. You've got to be really careful where you're getting your information from. And again, if you've got medications, new drugs that you're trying, and you want to know some impartial information about it, there's no better place than to look at, say, your warfarin and see what happens in the clinical studies and what some of the side effects are that maybe we're not told about, or again some of the opioids, and just again the big picture and what's happening in the conversation around some of those medications and in that sort of area of research. And so fire through any questions if you do come up with any, but I hope people found this helpful. And any help, give us a shout. But that's it from Chris Tasker and Global Cannabinoid Solutions. But speak soon. Hope everyone finds this useful, and all the best. Take care.